Hello and welcome. We are going to watch another video from Kane Pixels, another backroom video. It's only 8 minutes long. Really curious to see what it's about here. I was meaning to do this a while ago, but I haven't gotten around to it. So let's get right into it.
Alright.
This looks familiar already.
Today is November 14th. It is a Tuesday.
So this is like... This has got to be after the first test, right? Where they initially open the door, I'm thinking.
It is incredibly cold.
What are you all doing over there? Oh my god. The cats knocking stuff off the counter. So you want some heat down there? So it's cold in the back rooms. That's interesting.
Guy of hypothermia. Oh, camera.
Put your straps are on the bin right there. Make sure to get the red one, right? Because the green one reads.
I like the music. You gotta always check the handle, man. I've seen people get too comfortable with that unintelligible. Check the handle. It goes black. They're going up in the roof. That's pretty cool. Or the ceiling. Looks like a typical ceiling.
There's no insulation on top, and I'm seeing a bunch on the floor above. There's ventilation as well. You see that? You see the vents?
Yeah, it goes around the back to the right.
Some of it's insulated, I think. I don't know. I'm not a vent guy. I don't know. Oh, it looks no rust, I think. Huh.
More than one floor, and I use that term loosely. We then attempted to cut power to the nearest fluorescent light fixture, a standard troffer. However, we were unable to isolate the power source, and the conduit remained live, despite the absence of any visible external power supply.
So it's like, can you bring a light bulb in there and it'll just turn on? Or is there something supernatural about these particular light bulbs?
The source of electrical current remains unknown at this time. Using an insulated toolkit,
there is wireless power. That's a thing. That could be what's happening. Because, like, we all have, like, the wireless chargers these days that you just put your phone on and it charges. Like, Nikola Tesla was someone who, he invented it or he pioneered it. And he could actually, from a long distance, charge things. But right now, it's proximity chargers are really close. So I'm thinking it's probably something like that.
Conduit extracted the troffer from the ceiling and transported it back inside, back to standard for analysis. And they added a 0.5 meter sample of conduit was also taken with all exposed wiring safely secured afterwards in the ceiling. So the ceiling tile extracted measures 1.27 meters by 1.14 meters, which is certainly not standard. But it's composed primarily of mineral fiber. It seems normal in composition, has a fissured texture with mild tegular edges. So just after initial analysis, the composition of the tile estimated is around 60% mineral wool, which is fibers of amorphous silicate, usually derived from, I think it's basalt or slag. Around 20% expanded.
I don't know anything about ceiling tiles, so this is all news to me. Is this a standard ceiling tile of what it's made of?
Primarily of silicon dioxide and aluminium oxide, and the rest is a undefined mixture of silicate material, some starch, latex polymers, and some organic fibers derived from plant materials. Recycled cellulose, really.
It's like trees.
But the light
plants,
dropper
so-
housing is made of galvanized steel coated with a thin layer of zinc inside.
Sounds
the
typical.
fluorescent bulbs are non-standard in proportion, most closely resembling T12 bulbs. So the 4 bulbs measure 1.2 meters in length with a diameter of 38.1 millimeters. We're extrapolating here at only 51, but that bulb and lasers and the rest contain the following components. Phosphor coating, the calcium halophosphate for converting ultraviolet light to visible light, mercury vapor in a small quantity which facilitates the ultraviolet light emission, argon gas, and again,
Yeah,
this
I was
is
about
all
to say, is like, are we just describing a standard fluorescent bulb here?
standard for these fluorescent bulbs.
Did you know that Tesla also invented fluorescent bulbs? I'll have to double check that, but I believe he was the one who did that as well.
Assist with with regulating the current and really starting the bulbs, and they are connected via a G13 base, which is a standard 2-pin base with 13 millimeter spacing for electrical connection. So the wiring connected to the fixture is PVC insulated copper, which appears standard again. The prismatic diffuser over the bulbs is made of polymethyl methacrylate, which is again commonly used for its light diffusion properties. I mean, it's what we have in the building here, very standard. But we also inspected the ballast, which is of the electromagnetic type. There's some variation in how they're being manufactured now. This one contains a laminated steel core and copper windings designed to operate at 60 hertz. So the ballast emits a prominent 120 hertz hum. This seems to be the case for the majority, if not all, of the lights in the complex that we've assessed thus far, mostly just through simple curing. But this is due to magnetostriction and core vibration. But the noise may be exacerbated by loose lamination plates or degradation of the insulating potting material over time. So it's definitely an indication that this has been running for a little bit. I mean, despite its age, the ballast is functional.
So is that box is what's causing the lights to come on? Hey, you. He's like going all crazy over here.
Its large proportions suggest it was built for a non-standard space, not something you find in the majority of offices or most commercial spaces, though that's not something I'm too familiar with, truthfully. Now, we did find, so material compositions all seem expected, or we didn't know what to expect here. They seem, everything we've looked at so far, again, this is rudimentary early testing, but everything seems pretty congruent with what you might expect from one of the dropper lights you could pull out of the ceiling in this building right here. So nothing too strange, but that maybe makes things even stranger, because we look at these lights and let me see. So several labels were marked on various components of the troffer. So on the ballast, we found markings for marked it as a universal ballast, Type A, manufactured in 1975 with serial number A75234X. The troffer itself is stamped 3X432, and that was manufactured in 1973 in Reading, Pennsylvania, and it is UL listed. And the bulbs were manufactured by Sylvania, and they're marked F40SW, that's soft white, with no visible date information. It's left blank, but it is noted as made in the USA. So, I mean, though outdated in design, the fixture appears fully functional. The stable operation of all light fixtures in the subdivision points to a continuous, potentially autonomous power source, which still remains unidentified.
Wireless power, I'm telling you.
The materials used are durable with minimal visible wear, suggesting they were built for long-term, possibly indefinite use. So this concludes the initial findings. Further investigation is necessary to determine the source of power standards.
Okay, that was interesting. So that was pretty interesting. A lot of technical stuff, but I do think maybe like the wireless power is probably a good explanation. It doesn't have to be like a paranormal explanation. It could just be a scientific explanation. That was something that was created, I think, in like the 30s or 40s or even sooner by Nikola Tesla. So let me look that up for you. He was going to build Wardenclyffe Tower. So that was the whole Wardenclyffe Tower debacle situation where they stopped funding him because they didn't want free power, right? They didn't want free power going into people's homes. You can't make money off of that. That was in 1901. So, wow, that was a long time ago. It was like 120 years ago or more that we had this capability around for a long time. There was other things saying it was theorized, but, you know, I read stories about him just like putting light bulbs into the ground like a mile or two away from the tower and they would light up. He experimented with fluorescent lights in the 1890s, but he didn't produce a commercially viable version. Sorry. His work contributed to the development of fluorescent lights in a number of ways. Okay, so he was like, yet again, a pioneer in this type of thing. And Peter Cooper Hewitt is credited with developing a blueprint for mass-producing fluorescent lamps, blah, blah, blah. We saw the guy who actually invented it. So that was in the 1890s, 1927. So yeah, Tesla was working on it a long time before this Germer guy made them. So unfortunately, Tesla is not credited with enough stuff. He's like the father of wireless technology, wireless power, AC electricity, fluorescent lights, apparently, radio technology, like remote control stuff, all kinds of stuff. And it's unfortunate how much he's been swept under the rug, you know, especially in the USA. It's all about Edison, right? But there was like this huge feud and war between Edison and Tesla over AC and DC power. And Tesla won out, but yet everybody knows about Edison. But lately that has changed a lot. But when I was growing up, he wasn't in any books. Like, I didn't know anything about him until much later in life, which is ridiculous. But there you have it, you know. Here's your brief science history. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I can't wait for more content from Kane Pixels. I'm looking forward to the movie, too. I can't wait to see that. I don't know when it's going to be released. I got to look that up. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.